Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Hallmark auto movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark auto movies.
I'm Dan, and I hate Hallmark auto movies, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark.
At
It's
night.
his podcast.
That's never good. Oh, we're good. Okay.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Did you say hate? Did you say hate?
He did say hate.
I upped
Never
it
does
to
that.
hate.
What happened?
Can I
It's
tell
been a
you what
while,
happened?
I want to say really quickly, I think a lot of people might consider despise to be like even
Yeah,
stronger than
I just
hate.
thought it needed a
but
little
this is
something.
I think in this
Hate
line of
feels
work,
strong. Yeah.
hate is this
industry.
This is different.
Yeah,
this is different.
I think we'll get to it in the hot take,
Wow.
Brian, but
Oh.
something about this movie particularly set me off.
well,
Wow.
then we're gonna have ourselves quite the battle today, Dan.
No. What set me off is probably what you loved about it. So it probably won't be a battle. I think it'll be a situation where the reason it worked is the same reason it didn't work. And the short version is if you fell in love with these movies in the early 2010s, this movie was a love letter to you. So there you go.
It's great to be back
Yeah, it
in the
is.
studio today.
We're recording at night.
We
Brian.
did it. Yes, we are recording at night
Air
because
conditioning.
even though we are back in the
cement
studio,
palms.
even though we're back in the studio,
Studio.
there is still no school.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
we have had to.
course.
We're recording on a Sunday night, which we haven't done in a hot minute. It's
been a while.
It has been a hot
Been a
minute since we
while.
did a Sunday night recording, and
night recording.
we'll see how it goes. We'll see if we still got it.
Yeah, I think we do, but
I don't know.
the jury's out.
Jury's
we might
still
not,
out?
but I think we do.
Yeah.
You feeling it?
Yeah.
I feel like. Do you think we still got it?
Oh, I don't see where it could have gone. Of
Yeah,
course we
no
still
kidding.
got it.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
AC's pumping. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it sure is.
We are
freezing cold in
Oh,
here.
I bumped it down hard yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did. Good
Oh,
for
it's
you.
been like that for a while, huh?
We are a week and some change away from the marathon, folks. That's
right around the corner.
It feels like because kind of we've been living in
a little
a
distracted
literal
lately.
hell.
like time doesn't matter.
At
no one
all.
knows
Just
what's
started
going
making up
on.
days.
Our
I didn't
kids-
know it
Kids
was-
are always around.
Kids are never going back
Kids
to
are
school.
around.
It's hard to really put to words how quickly this is sneaking up on us.
Real
it's getting
quick,
away,
like.
I think.
yeah, it's getting away from us a little bit,
Yeah.
but flights are flying.
Flights are not
Flights are
canceled.
flying.
Flights are flying.
Yeah.
Flights are
Flights
flying.
are booked. Yes,
And,
everybody's coming to town.
and we'll be here.
The whole Bramble Jam
not going anywhere.
DTH gang coming
The
to town.
DTH
The
gang.
crew.
Everybody that hosts regularly here at Deck the Hallmark will be here for the marathon.
That's
It's gonna
right.
be a fun time had by all.
And you're going to get to see everybody who hosts like the Hallmark together this week as well for our first of two. I know Hallmark Christmas preview
It's gonna
shows.
fly by. It's gonna fly
But the
by.
good
It was
news
quick, right?
is,
It's a quick one.
we're making Dan was like, let's just do two, and I said, that's a stupid idea. Watch.
It's a good impression of me. Not against Brian, but it's good.
And I
Let's just do it too.
yeah, that's better. Thank you. And I was like, I don't know, man. That seems like we're really shortchanging some
You
people.
don't know nothing. I hate you.
And so that's mean, man. We say despise around here, first of all. And so while we are only
he's
getting
rough.
two, if the first one is any indication, the second one, you're going to be here for a while. It's a long episode.
Long
But it's a
episode.
lot of fun. It's
It's
a
a-
lot of
yeah,
fun.
lots.
It's a lot of
A
fun.
lot
So
of
you can
laughs.
Look forward to that.
It's
that's
hard
coming
to
out later
not
this
do
week.
bits when Brian's reading. You know what I mean?
They just write themselves.
They write themselves.
You know, and the good news is we're recording the second preview show
Tonight after three other
imminently.
episodes. So that's gonna go.
It's going to go real
It's gonna
bad.
be awesome.
I think it's going to be a quicker one.
It's gonna be I think it will fly by.
There's
Fly
nothing.
by.
What could go wrong? Brian, hello. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm awesome.
How was your weekend? Get out of the way real quick.
Yeah.
We're still, weekend's not quite over. It's been fine, man. We've been cleaning out.
What are you
And-
Cleaning out?
Cleaning out.
Are you
and
robbing
stuff.
places?
You know,
What are you
we're
doing?
recovering. No, just looting out there. A lot of places just free stuff. Just hanging around, cleaning stuff. I put away my home recording studio that we had
Uh-huh.
set
Yeah,
up.
what a
was
studio
wonderful.
it
Sad
was.
day. I left the
What a
tree up.
studio
You know what?
it was.
Here it comes. I played the applause button
Oh,
for
can
you.
you hear
Yeah,
it?
you did.
Yeah.
Good for
Probably
you.
need some headphones.
You really stepped up big there, bro.
Yep. That
was
was
good
great. I
stuff.
left the tree up though. That thing is
Yeah.
right where it belongs. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Costco special.
That's tough, though. That's tough. I have looked out my backyard and just kind of looked at it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it.
Did you get any of the
Get
debris
around
off
to
of your
it.
house? Or are you
A
still
little
waiting
bit.
on?
We got some debris. Debris, some say.
Debris.
Still hanging out in the house.
Still hanging out.
The kids are basically moving into it,
Yeah,
turning
they
it into
are.
tree forts.
So
Listen,
Every time
maybe
I
it's
look
a
out
blessing.
there,
What do
maybe
you got to do?
Maybe we'll see. Yeah, we're working
Where
on
are
that.
the kids? In the tree
In
again.
the tree. They live outside now.
They live in the
tree fort.
tree. That I've always wanted a tree fort.
You want to come live in my backyard?
Maybe.
Yeah, this is your
Come on
chance,
over, man.
dude.
They're right up on the ground. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
I
right
keep
there.
telling Dan we need to make my backyard tree, which overlooks Dan's backyard.
Where you perch
We need
from.
to make it a central tree fort.
I think
Community tree fort.
I'm on board with that. Aside from
community
the
tree fort.
building it part,
Yeah.
it's a tough angle, and the way the tree sits is also tough. I think that's a hire it out situation.
Hire it out.
Yeah. So
We can make it in the studio.
we could be
Tree
it could
fort
be a
studio,
treehouse studio.
Has anyone done that?
The sound will be great.
I think we could do it, man. I think
Let's
we could be the
talk-
first. Run a
Should we
bunch of
talk?
cords and cables up there. Every time Aaron wants to produce an episode, she's got to like tug on a rope and let us climb up the thing.
the rope.
She can produce it from the house.
I mean, is Andy Lawrence available to help us build it?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Maybe
Definitely.
Joey too.
Yeah.
Because then I'm kind of in for the
Joey's
vlog.
definitely free. Yeah. He's definitely free these
I
days.
kind of love this idea.
I know you do.
A tree fort.
I just want to be on the record. This is a bit I hate.
having to watch the three of you climb into a treehouse every day to
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
What if we get
So-
an elevator? One of those
All
ones that
the
we
money goes to the elevator.
No, we pull it up with a rope. It's a
What
lever.
if we get an
a dumbwaiter.
elevator?
It's a levy.
A dumbwaiter.
A
Is that what-
levy?
A lever. A
levy?
It's not a levy.
Sean Levy?
Like a
Pulley?
dumbwaiter?
Like
Pulley.
a pulley?
Pulley system.
You were going through all your simple
The
machines and you
pulley
got there.
system. Very mechanical.
What if it's
A
a
levy?
what if it's a
Pulley
pulley
system.
pulley system?
Who's pulling it to pull me up?
You
Pull yourself?
You go
up.
first.
And I pull myself up.
yes.
And then I pull the rest of you up.
Yes.
I hate this.
you hate hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
do.
rest of
You're
us
right.
are out here,
Yeah,
we're
Was
working
this
hard.
what you previewed when you said
Working
I
hard.
hate?
Yes.
This was what we
right,
knew we were
Yeah,
going to get
I
to.
knew we were going to talk about
Let's
the
get
treehouse.
to this.
This is all in show prep.
Let's get to this. I'm mad already, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Autumn at Apple Hill. It originally premiered on Hallmark Channel on October 5th, 2024, and it went a little something like this. The inn at Apple Hill has been in Elise's family since her grandparents bought it many moons ago, early in their marriage. The inn means everything to Elise. Everything.
Everything to me.
It's all
Autumn
she
Hill
ever
has got
wanted.
to have this inn.
It's all she wanted when she got a divorce from her husband. She wanted it straight up, and when she was able to get it, she got it. But the inn is struggling. There are leaks. There are electrical issues. There are other things. So she really wants to make the inn thrive, but in order to do that, she's going to need a loan. But she is told that she can't get a loan without 15% gross profits. It's clear as crystal. The banker encourages
Over
her
the course
to,
of 1 month.
of 1 month. It's 1 month, 15%
real
gross
quick.
profit 1 month.
That's what the bank cares about.
It's 1
Yeah.
month.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah,
That's right.
They don't care about 2 years ago or
It's
last
short.
year.
It's a
Or
short term.
2 years in the future.
In the month of October, can you turn
If you can
a
do it
profit
now-
of 15%?
If you
in
can
1
do
month?
it now, you can do it
If you can dodge a
anytime.
wrench, you can dodge a ball.
And so the banker encourages her to think about maybe being bought out by one of those bigger hotel chains.
Yeah, you know the kind.
Boo. Enter Luke Bellwether, who runs the Bellwether Holding Co., a hotel chain. He runs it with his mother, and basically forces him to go on a vacation because he is addicted to work. She even deactivates access to his accounts. It's pretty serious stuff. He decides that he's going to go visit his best friend Jared, which also happens to come with a stay at the inn at Apple Hill. This is a very important place to him. This is the place where him and his mom went to when she left his dad, and then they ended up moving to Apple Hill. He loves this place, and he loves the inn. Apparently, this is the area where he grew up. He is shocked to find out that so many businesses are going out of town. And they just tore down his old high school, maybe even with the the picture of them
the
with the
hockey
hockey
picture.
And they
picture.
built one out of town to make education accessible to all.
So
Just
a lot
bust
of
them
changes.
over. Let's just bust them over.
So Elise is having a bad day.
Playing the angry white billionaire, Brian Harold.
That's
Just
unlike.
bust him over.
That's not something he's done before. Elise is having a bad day, and she always goes to Tony's to get pizza
Tony.
and play Space Barge,
Yeah,
her favorite
Space
arcade
Barge.
game, which she has all of the high scores.
Not
of.
anything like Space Invaders.
No, it's
And you
very
wanna be
different.
very clear about that.
But
Yes.
Luke is playing it, and she is crushed when she finds out that he has beaten her high score. This day keeps getting worse. When she gets back to the end, she finds out that somebody named Luke Bellwether from Bellwether Holdings is going to be staying there, and she knows what that means. They're coming in, they're going to try to buy me out, and I'm not having it. So she wants to do everything she can to make sure that Luke Bellwether doesn't stay at the end. When Luke shows up, she's like, oh my gosh, it's you. Even more reason to hate you. And she gives him room 11.
Oh, she
no.
wouldn't give him
She
room
did.
11.
supposed to give
she
room
did.
11.
A room that no one's supposed to stay in, complete with doors that won't stay shut. No cell service for some reason. A leaky sink. Electrical issues. He goes to talk to
And somebody
Elise.
did a number on room 11.
And they get into quite
It's
the
kinda really
argument.
lucky, in all honesty.
Yeah, it is. They go to talk. They get a bit of an argument, and Luke thinks that the inn has so much potential and claims that Elise is running it into the ground. Elise is really struggling, not knowing the future of the inn. And to make matters worse, they only have 15 folks signed up for the Apple event. It's always been a raging success. You know who does show up, though? It's Luke. After seeing how Luke has spruced up his room, he fixed those things himself. And hearing
We'll
that
talk about that later.
and hearing that Luke helped keep Jared's business afloat, she realizes that maybe she misjudged Luke. Maybe Luke isn't a bad guy that wants to buy her in. So she goes to try to make things right with him, but he's already on his way out. So she goes to make things right the only way that you can with an apple pie. Did you bring one today, Brian?
No.
He had
And
power and everything. It's unbelievable.
and opens up to him about how the inn is probably not going to make it through the first week of November. Luke is like, well, how about the Halloween party? She's like, we haven't done a Halloween party in 15 years. Lots of number 15s in this movie. And he's like, well, bring it back and try this one on for size. Sell tickets. She agrees to
Social
go.
media.
She agrees as long as he.
Website.
That's right. As long
Internet.
as
iPad, tablet.
she agrees as long as he comes back to stay at the end. They agree and get right to work on party planning. Wait a daggum second. This is a party planning movie?
What?
This is a trick. They tricked me,
Yeah,
but I've been
gotcha.
too deep at this point. There's nothing I can do. Elise tries to cancel the party, but Luke is like, well, guess what? I already promoted it and sold 110 tickets. Boom.
Whoa! You can't recover from that.
I know.
Those kind of numbers. Oh my gosh.
Luke teaches
Triple
Elise.
dig. Oof.
Luke teaches Elise the power of asking folks who care for favors. And as she's amazed at how many people are willing to help the inn. He gets a call from his mom, and she says that he actually needs to come back ASAP. There's been a situation, a contract snafu. Need you to come back and handle that. And he's like, I'm not missing this Halloween party at Apple Hill, dadgummit. I'll come the day after. Elise surprises Luke by setting up a picnic in his childhood home, which happens to be for sale. And he surprises her by having the inn lit up with lights on a generator. So that's where all the generators were.
that's where
That's
they
what
are.
I
Thanks
got.
so
Generators,
much.
plural.
Could've used
They
a few
say
of
in this
those.
movie. That wasn't. That
Thanks
don't
so
sting.
much. His mom shows
Quack,
up.
Mr. Dyson.
His Mr. Bellworth.
Mr. Bellworth, that's right.
His mom shows up and tries to get him to leave, but he's like, you know what I've learned? I've learned to trust you, Mom, and to trust and that you need to trust your gut. You got a good gut for your age. She tells him that she hasn't seen
Like
him.
yogurt.
Okay.
She says
Greek
All right.
yogurt.
All right, baby.
she hasn't
Probiotics.
she tells him that she hasn't seen him this happy in forever. You go, boy.
Like kombucha.
The party is a smash hit.
Clear
It's a
Rachel.
graveyard smash, actually. I don't know if you heard about
Was
that.
that
Very
Monster
nice.
Mash?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
She looks at the books afterwards and finds out that they did not hit that magic number they needed.
Man.
didn't even see it coming.
Looks like
One month to rule them all.
looks like it's not gonna happen.
Oof.
He's like, sorry, kiddo, I gotta go. And she's like, you know what? I don't want you to leave. And he kisses her on the cheek, and she cries, and he leaves. When he gets back to New York, though, his mom tells him that he belongs in Apple Hill. And he's like, say no more. When Elise goes to have her follow-up bank meeting, as one does, the banker tells her that he has seen all he needs to see.
Right. No
this
mas.
shows that you are
Care about the town.
really caring, and
My
that you are
family
going to
loves
put
it.
into work, and you are going to get the loan that you asked for. Luke shows back up and tells her that he's staying in Apple Hill, and that it's because of her that she is up for it. And if she's up for it, we can maybe get together. And she's like, I've never been up for anything more in my entire life. They kiss. He surprises her by buying Space Barge and having it placed in the inn permanently so they can play together and kiss while they play. And that, my friends, was
Autumn
at
Apple Hill.
We did it.
We did do it. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down with 4 segments. See you around.
Deck the Hallmark.
Aaron Cam.
That title does not roll off.
Welcome back, everybody. It's great to be here
boy.
today.
Yep.
Happy Tuesday. We're talking Autumn at Apple Hill.
It's a good
An
stuff.
autumn movie, a fall into love movie from the Hallmark Channel. Let's break it down with 4 segments. We're going to try something new today. We're going to start with a hot take. It is where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back, and I will start with you first, Brian. Brian, what'd you think of Autumn at Apple Hill?
Hell yeah. First, let's get the Milady count out of the way.
Milady,
We had a
yes.
1 Milady in this
We
movie.
did have a Milady.
We had a Milady.
You're right. We did.
So I want to make sure we get that for the
Thank
record.
goodness.
One.
Great.
So I like this movie for a lot of different reasons, though it feels a little weird talking about it because I feel like it feels like duct taping like a tiny little hole where you know there's like a waterfall coming because I know you're going
Dan
to
said he
destroy
hates
this.
it?
Yeah, I know Dan's going to on just unleash on this movie.
But I mean, to be fair, but you know, that is my job if these movies don't hold water to continue your
keep it going. Keep
metaphor.
it going.
But that doesn't mean that you can't like it.
I know,
Brian.
I know.
My opinion is not
but
definitive.
usually like,
it's an
we
opinion.
know it's coming, but usually you haven't.
But like,
talked
if
about
I
it
don't
so
like
much.
if I hate something that holds up in Brand's eyes, he gets angry. If I hate something that he knows doesn't hold up, but he loves it anyway, then we can all just smile and be happy because it's like he didn't. You liked it for the same reasons I didn't like it. That would be my guess.
Maybe
anyway.
we'll see.
'Kay.
How about this? So
All right.
it starts off. A lot of stuff happens in this that doesn't usually happen. Like we start with a divorce. Unusual.
That's true. That's true.
So that's
the
weird.
beginning of this movie is very much different.
Yes. And
Yes.
him showing up, the guy from the big real estate corporation, not there with an interest in the property was different.
That's right.
I guess. I
That's
don't
right.
agree with that.
You know,
but
like
that's
I was
fine.
surprised. It was funny to see her expecting that. She's like, I know
Yeah.
exactly how this is going to
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
And it's just
of
not even
course.
on the table. Luke didn't swoop in and save her at the end. Like she got it through the bank because of community spirit.
I would argue that she got absolutely robbed blind, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to look
Yeah.
at those terms and conditions
Okay.
and see what the fine print says. But so it's nice that the bank worked on the community spirit for her, and he didn't come in and be like, "Hey, I'll take care of this." And he was doing his own thing. He was there for his own reasons, which was different. But a big gray cloud here that was introduced into my mind throughout this movie was.
Are you okay?
We're
buddy?
not getting a Haul Out the Holly 3 this year. And I didn't even realize it until seeing Wes Brown in this
Wow.
movie.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and once I got that in my mind, I got so bummed out.
Yeah, we got 2 Wes Brown movies in the last 3 weeks, and we don't get a Haul at the Holly 3.
Yeah.
That's kind of
It's
tough.
a bummer. So I
Yeah.
did like this. I did have a good time. Fall off the charts. Halloween
Yes.
decorations off
Yeah.
the charts. A lot of twists that I didn't expect. And so for those reasons, I'm in.
I just want to say this. I am on a boat, in this movie's with me, and we are floating just fine. And it doesn't need any help from me. It's going to be just fine without me. But luckily, I'm along for the ride because this movie's fantastic.
What are you
I
talking
love you guys are doing this whole boat thing
water,
and
yeah.
carrying water.
It wasn't a
water.
boat. He said he was going to put a duct
Taping a big leak.
like a leak.
Yeah,
Not
there's
on
no
a boat.
leak on the boat.
We didn't say anything about a boat.
I don't.
Neither one of us.
No, I brought it up.
Okay. You're on a boat and it doesn't need any help from you.
You
It's
see
doing
the
just fine.
waterfall
It's doing
coming,
just
you get in
fine.
your boat. Got
It doesn't need me
But
to.
we said, and then I said, what are you talking about? And you said, you guys were talking about a boat, and I wasn't talking about a boat. So
No
we're back
boat.
to you.
Yeah, so
but you are on a boat with this movie, and it is doing fine.
So I
is.
brought up the boats. I
sure did.
heard something about water, and my mind went to boat. All that to say, I love this movie, and I had a great time. It is one of my favorites of the year. It had all the fall feels. It had some old school Hallmark flair, but also, to Brian's point, it turned things on its head. We didn't get this Bellworth Holdings company coming into this small town trying to destroy it. No, this means something to Luke. Luke went in there and he just said, I just want this to be the place.
Yeah.
And you know what? Dadgummit, it is that place. It is that place with a little bit of love. And sometimes you need somebody to come alongside of you and just be like, hey, let's just try some things.
Yeah.
Let's just try some things.
Yeah.
Let's rely on the kindness of the community that loves this inn, that this inn has been a staple of this community for a long time. And so I love that. I love that the Bellworth family is a family that's not power hungry. That we've seen so many of these corporations that go in and they buy the things, or the hotel chains or the whatever, where the parent is always just like, you gotta do it, Luke, you gotta get in there and make the deal. We didn't get any of that. That was never even on the table, and I appreciated that. And I thought, of course, these two leads, dynamite, wonderful. Not only did they have the chemistry, but they looked great. They looked fall.
Yeah.
They looked
Oh, yeah.
autumn.
Oh, yeah.
They looked autumn.
Some of his jackets? You kidding me right now?
Downright autumnal.
Autumnal.
And so
Whoa.
I had a great time. I thought that it was fantastic. Will watch again. Dan?
Last week you said the Real
Time for a
West.
break?
Last time you said the Real West is one of your favorites of
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah.
The
It's
week
been a really good-
before you said Falling Together is one of your favorites.
It's been a
of the year.
great, aside from the
could
first
you
fall
rank
movie.
those three for me? Could you just rank those three?
It's gotten better every week. This, Real West, and then
Together?
Falling Together.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gotten better
You
every
think
week.
this week was better
Fall into Love has gotten
than
better every
Are you with
week.
him? The real? You think this is
I
better
think-
than the Real
I
West?
think
I
I have
think this
Real
is
West
better
Falling
than the Real
Together?
West. Yes.
I think I have Real West ahead of this.
Yeah.
And Falling Together third.
It's been getting better every week.
Those cowboy hats.
And
Man.
Fall into Love.
Did you see the little Halloween logo on the bottom corner?
Yes, a lot.
So that was real nice. It was a nice touch. There was like a Halloween week logo. Got me pretty pumped.
Yeah, I love it. There was Halloween in this movie. There's
Yes,
Halloween in
it
this
You've
was-
not
movie.
seen
it
this
was.
one, right?
I haven't seen the Real West
What were
either.
the? How would you rank those other two?
Falling Together is my favorite.
Uh-huh.
I
I
haven't
think-
seen anything else.
You've not seen Real West either. I think they've gotten worse.
Oh
every
my
week.
word!
I think they've
Oh,
gotten
man, this
worse every week.
Shock. I wish this had breaking news music
I
on
don't-
this board.
Listen, this is a movie where Wes Brown and Aaron Cahill are both more than capable, and they do a great job. What are you doing?
Nothing. Go ahead. I hit one
Should we
button.
put
I'm
these
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
earphones
sorry.
in?
No.
No,
Yeah.
we missed all of that.
there it is. Yeah.
That's the sound of Dan.
I think Wes Brown and Aaron Cahill are perfectly fine in this movie. There's no issues with either of those two. They're wonderful actors, and they know what they're doing. And yes, it starts with a divorce. And yes, the big bad billionaire company on its surface is good because they're not trying to buy this place. I would say that with the kind of loan she's getting, it still very much favors the big business. That's neither
Did you
here
see
nor
the
there.
terms?
That's neither here nor there.
you see the terms?
I didn't see the terms.
I
But
wasn't
if a
privy to the
banker
terms.
says my family enjoyed their time at the Halloween party, so I've changed my mind on your very risky business loan, then I think we can fill in the blanks there. Regardless, I think my issue here is this movie, aside from the fact that the billionaire company is not out to get them, which is a little scarier in my mind, aside from that one fact, this movie is Bill Abbott's dream movie. It is It is the movie that you saw all the time 10 years ago. It is, let's dump autumn all over the place. I'm not mad about that. Let's throw party planning in it. Let's throw two people who kind of sort of grew up in the same town but somehow don't know each other. Let's throw very questionable banking ethics, very questionable educational ethics, very questionable just math numbers in general. And let's have an ancestral inheritance of an inn that's been in the family for 100 years hinge on a party that sells 115 tickets. This movie is ludicrous. It does not hold up under any scrutiny at all. But if you want to fold laundry to this movie, if you want to have it on the background, if you want to have fall feels, obviously it fits the bill for all that. I'm not here to say it doesn't do that.
I kept waiting for you to say something that wasn't great about the movie.
But my whole thing is that unfortunately, the last 2 years, Hallmark has made us aspire for more than that. And so this would have been average in 2015. This movie was a tough sit. They don't care about it making sense. They don't care about it adding up. They're just dumping fall all over the place. They're backing up the Dumptron, and then they're just letting you bask in those autumn feels as a movie that is nonsensical washes over you. I hated my time with this movie. I would much rather watch a movie like Falling Together, which you heard my hot take on Falling Together. But they tried something. I would much rather watch that movie. I would much rather watch The Real West. Well, where, once again, very different. They tried something. So this is the thing that I hated, and then we stopped having to watch them every week. And so now when we have to watch one of them, which doesn't happen often, it kind of reminds me of how terrible these movies used to be. This movie is a reminder that Hallmark used to be a lot worse. For me, for you,
that's right.
Maybe you.
That's right.
It's better.
Can I make an argument
and do it
here?
as loud as possible.
Because you said that we Hallmark aspired to be better, and I think Hallmark aspired to have different movies,
Correct.
not better, because that means that this movie and the thousands that have come before it are now out to dry. They don't matter anymore. And that's not true, because for folks like me that love this, we still want these. We just also want something else as well. And so the fact that we've gotten over the past 3 weeks 3 different movies showcases that I think, and they all hit me in different ways, showcases that the network's doing something right.
I would say a movie like this that's plot doesn't hold together is so few and far between now. We don't have a lot of movies like this anymore. Most movies, the
What's
plot.
wrong with the plot?
I do you want me to do it now or in the wait what section? Because,
I don't know.
Because if you have a inn that's gonna go under and can't afford a new electrical
rhetorical?
panel, a Halloween party with 115 guests, even at 10 grand a ticket, probably not gonna save you. Not gonna save you. Not gonna do it. They just got rid of a public school in this movie. They got rid of one. The business
Relocated to
the
for the
bank.
growing community.
Education's an actual right. You have to have like some sort of school within a certain distance from you.
We don't know where it
The
moved.
two people don't know each other in the movie somehow. There's so much here that it doesn't hold
There's
up
2
under any
grades
scrutiny.
behind.
Yeah,
grades behind.
Yeah, big
2 grades
big
behind.
school.
But
2
they all
grades
know.
behind.
We'll get to it. We got wait what coming. Don't worry, Brent.
Let's get to all the feels.
Yeah.
Should we talk about what this movie gives feels, Brian?
I mean, those decorations, like you mentioned, the Dumptron. Obviously, they pulled out the Dumptron.
Oh, they
like-
broke out the Dumptron.
but my
love a
real
Dumptron.
feels.
This I will say this.
Yeah.
This made Falling Together look like they didn't even try
Yes,
on the fall
100%.
decorations.
The-
I mean, this
it was
movie
wild.
went above, and this is like
Yes.
whatever that was last year, fall everything with Taylor. Pumpkin everything with Taylor Cole. That's what this.
Yeah.
This is this year's Pumpkin Everything, but it doesn't hold up as much as that one does.
The inn looked phenomenal. But I mean, why can't small town banking work this way? That was sort of my feels, was her going to the bank and him being like, you made my family happy. I believe in you. You're on
it
the
should
right
work.
track. Yeah,
Yeah.
why can't it just work like that? What's
the way it
wrong with
should
him
work.
having a gut feeling about it working? And that's how it goes. Like, I'm okay with that. I think so that small town spirit.
It's probably a community bank. It's probably
Yes,
trying
he wants-
to, in theory, better the community.
I would say that's probably on their
In
mission
theory.
statement. We want to improve our community.
I don't want to do. Listen, I don't want to do.
Banking should
I don't
work
want to be
that
that
way.
guy.
It should work
but
like
you
that.
talking like this is the definition of privilege. If you get a
Here
wink,
we go.
all right, fine, I'll stop. But if you go, why don't we have more wink and handshake? I know this person, so even though they don't meet the criteria, I'm going to give them the lone wink, wink, because they are friends with my family, not because anything else.
That's not at all what I said.
That's what Brian just
No,
said.
I just
He
said
"Why
I said
shouldn't the
community banks should
but
be
why
helping
shouldn't
the
banks be like this? the bank should have criteria because you want everyone to have access to money. That community bank has a limited amount of money. What if somebody wants to start a small business that has worked really hard and they may not have the familial hierarchy that the Apple Hill people do, but they qualify? Why aren't they getting the money? You can't do this.
They
you
should
can't be
still
like,
get the
I
money.
miss the good old days where we could sip a cherry Coke and white people gave white people loans. That's not how it works. That shouldn't be how it works. That's bad. It's not good.
I
It's
just want banks
bad.
to help communities.
Yeah,
that's
that's
all
all.
I said.
No, you want it to help the community that knows that part of the community to help that part of the community. If you throw out any of this criteria, you're basically asking for a lot of prejudice, and you know it.
I don't think that people who do qualify and need help should be excluded either.
Okay, but
You
the
know?
banks has a certain amount of money to lend out.
Yeah.
It's a community
Yeah,
bank.
we could do
this
smaller
person didn't
loans.
qualify, and they gave him the money. What does that mean? That money's gone.
But it's coming back because the business is going to do great.
But maybe they fail and they lose the money, and now they've closed on the estate.
and then that bank manager's
Yeah.
out of a job.
Yeah.
Or that loan officer. So it's a risk. But yeah, I mean, the decorations were great. I'm glad.
How
just
big do
helping
you
out the
think
small
this town
business.
is, Dan?
That is one of my wait what's because
Because I thought it was a very small town.
But if it's a small town, then
Yeah.
they know each other because 2 grades apart means nothing. If it's a big town,
Sure.
then it doesn't. But then they don't close the school.
Can I ask you this?
And more than 115 people show up. The movie does not hold up in that regard.
Which
It wants
town
to-
would you be comfortable in?
me?
Yeah.
I'd be comfortable with either. But you know, I love a small town.
I know.
You do.
So that's my thing.
I was born in a small
It seems
town. I
like
love to
you're
go-
against the small town.
I
in
have
this case.
nothing against a big town,
It
and I want
seems like
that
you got
on
a
the
lot
record.
against a small town, which
Yeah.
would lead me to
I
believe
have,
that
I
you
have a lot against handshake deals.
Okay.
I have a lot against
What
handshakes.
if they do that in the
Seems
big
like
town?
you
though?
like big city.
I think in this regard, and I've always said I have nothing against a big town, and in this regard, the big town is right.
Wow.
You got that? Clip?
Okay, let me ask you this: you die
Yeah.
in.
No, I won't. I will die in a small town.
How can you? I
don't know. This
okay,
is a
here's
promise.
the hypothetical.
This is a
You don't
promise.
want to. You don't want to go to a small town bank, so you go to the big city bank, and then you die.
I'll get to the small town before I die.
Okay.
They'll airlift me.
There's just no way for you to.
They
promise
will
that.
airlift me.
Is that your will?
At
Your
what
last
point does
will and
Greenville- at
testament?
what point
That
is-
sounds like a handshake deal that you have with the big city bank.
Exactly. And I'm already mad at myself.
Seems like you're calling kettles.
Yep.
Do you have anything else?
Tea drinker over there.
Did
you have
you,
anything
Bri?
else?
What?
No.
That was it.
I love. We've seen a lot of the mother son or the son and father relationship where they run the business, and those relationships by and large.
It's probably where they'll bury me, is all I'm saying. They'll probably bury me in a small town, too. I will die there, and it's probably where they'll bury me. And you need to know that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's probably where they'll bury me.
I just don't. If you are never going to go to a small town bank, you have to at least acknowledge.
I'll bank at a small town bank. I just want
Interesting.
everybody to have equal opportunity to
Okay.
that money. That's what I want.
Yeah, great. No,
And
we-
I'll die.
I agree with that.
I will die in a small town. Back
I
to
agree with
you,
that, but you
and
would-
they'll
you-
probably bury me there.
But I
Go
would
ahead.
just say you would, you would say that maybe the big city banks maybe are doing things in a way that you would be more comfortable banking.
I would hope so. Yes.
Okay,
Then
so
this
that's
bank.
my thing.
Then
Yeah,
this bank.
that's
In
my
this movie.
thing.
Yeah.
I just think that you're
But I'm dying in a small town,
You're
they'll bury me there,
painting
probably.
yourself
Yes.
into a tight
I
corner
am.
that you can't die.
You're right. That's
Okay.
tough.
All right. And I
Gotta
feel
send
like
a courier to the bank.
the mother-son relationship in this movie, it was heartwarming to see an actual like healthy mother-son relationship where they're in business together. They're in a business that is in hotel chains. And it's not like, hey, you got to go and get this thing. It was, hey, you're working too much. Take a break. Go back to the place. Go back to the small town. You love the small town.
I love
You
a
want to
small
die
town.
there.
But easily the best scene in the movie is
Yes.
the kid and his mom. That's
Yeah.
the best scene in the movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like when he's like, I just wanted to make you proud. That scene is a great scene.
Yeah. Dan?
Do you remember that Halloween party they had in this movie and they used as a charity and all the adults didn't dress up? That's the one. That's the one right there. Yeah. Yeah. All the feels. All the feels. It was wonderful. Adults were like, this is a thing for kids to dress up.
Ridiculous.
It's perfect. Perfect. Chef's kiss, no notes.
Let's take a break.
Great
We'll come
job.
back. We'll get to the wait, what the Hallmark here on
Drag the Hallmark.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking autumn at Apple Hill Inn. And
Quite a pause.
I know I couldn't remember if it was Inn or Hill, and so I decided to go with both.
And everything after.
And everything after it all at once. It's time to talk about the way what's. We're talking about when this movie made us go, wait, what, Brian?
Yeah, him. He was just the most understanding guest that has ever existed in any form of service or anything. Where
he's above and beyond.
Unbelievable. So that was just
Hearing his backstory though with the inn made it make
Yes,
sense. You're willing to
do
give
well.
some credibility.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. She was just so mean to him. I just felt
really
so
was.
bad. You just end up feeling so bad for him. But he was so understanding. She won't take a loan from
That's
him.
right. Here we go.
But she's like scraping to get it from
That's
the
right.
bank. Like, let
This small business loan from the bank is going to be tacked with, unless they get the old, hey, you're a member of the community discount.
Yeah.
This is going to be tacked with a pretty hefty interest.
100%.
And
Yeah.
she believes that is doing it on her own.
Yeah.
Whereas taking a loan from someone who is from the town and wants to invest in the company is not doing it on her own.
And his track record is, I would even argue, better than a bank. He's more of a partner.
He's
invested
and he knows how to fix
Yes.
the hotel.
He
He's
knows what
in
he's
the
doing.
hotel
He's
business.
in the industry. He's invested in
It's-
businesses. Like, it's a no-brainer.
The loan part of this movie is really what set me off,
It
if
is-
I'm being
it-
particularly
yeah.
honest
It
with
is
you.
an unnecessary thing to keep going
Yes.
towards.
And
yeah.
in the terms of the loan, all of it.
I like to
T's and
think
C's.
that what should have happened, and I do agree, what should have happened is at the end of this movie, once she gets to know the guy, and the fact that the guy has given loans to Jared before, and
Yeah.
Jared was still able to run the business how he wanted to run
Went
the
to
business.
Jared.
Well, he went to Jared, would prove like, hey, this guy. I understand at the beginning not wanting to take money from him because that means that I'm going to have to change my hotel, and I want to keep it here. He's in the hotel space. That means I'm going to have to conform. I'm more comfortable taking money from the bank, even if it means that my hands are tied financially a little bit. I'm able to still do things the way that I want to. But once you get to know the guy, you fall in love with the guy. You see that he's given money to Jared.
Yeah, he
I
went to
do understand
Jared.
that. I do understand
But
that frustration.
Also, this movie's big crescendo that's not the kiss is exactly the big crescendo that isn't the kiss is congratulations, we're giving you the loan. Big music plays. Guys, I don't know if you know this. Banks freaking they do
love loaning
everything
out.
possible to get you money because they're making all the money. Like the idea that this is like Rudy getting on the field. And she could have gotten an interest-free loan from someone who's done it before. And professional was like really, really hard for me.
Yeah.
And all she had to show is 15% gross profit for a month. Yeah. And probably an inn called Apple Hill. If you can't profit 50, it would be like
Yeah.
if you and I couldn't profit in December.
Yeah, Right.
Like,
yeah.
what are we doing here, gang?
Yeah.
And she didn't make it. I want to be clear. She didn't make it.
She didn't make it.
The easiest of terms, the bank was like, let's throw her a softball. 15% gross profit in your easiest month. Can't do it? Still get it because we love you and your family.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's real bad. Sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
My last one was it was like an apple picking party or something.
It
that
was,
they did.
yes, the first thing.
Yes, the first thing.
Yeah.
And everybody's picking hundreds of apples. Like there's so many apples to be picked. And then like what do they do with the apples?
There are so many apples.
There's so many apples.
I
And
mean,
I feel like a lot of I assume all the guests at the inn are picking apples there. Like, do they then give them to the helper to make? Could she make all those pies? It's sort of a what the
Depends. Are they a helper of the week?
Maybe a helper of the week, I guess, because it looked like she took all those apples and made pies for everybody. The assistant who worked at the inn, like just so many apples. Where are all these pies coming from? Like very, very curious. I was like, how? What do they do with all these apples? There's so many apples.
So many apples.
And all these pies. It's just there's a lot going on there. They just didn't talk about what was going on as much. So that's it.
Per usual, if I love the movie, I also have a lot of way whats. And so here are some. One, I found it odd that she waited to take her rings off until the divorce proceedings ended. That's a really like. Typically, when
That's
everyone
probably a Hallmark note.
Yeah, everyone I've ever known that's gotten a divorce, when they are like, "Hey, I'm getting a divorce," they don't want that ring on anymore. They don't want it around,
or they're in denial and want to keep it on
for sure.
It's
this
definitely
was
not
like
the
this
middle.
was that we've done it with all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed,
And
here they are.
That's right.
For you to take back and do what you want to with them. Love that. He went to get a meal with his mom, and his phone starts dinging a lot.
here
and
we go.
he's like,
This is a good one.
He's like, well, she's like, what is that? And he's like, I just fired off a very important email, and those are probably the responses. What was in that email? I've never in my life, and I've seen some doozies, ever gotten bing, 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 bong, in email returns.
Yes.
Text threads get out of hand.
Yes.
But
Email
emails,
returns.
everybody's kind of on their own, their own speed there.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten 1,000 responses at once.
When the Greenville County canceled all the book fairs at our school, they sent something out and somebody hit reply all with a political statement. And that became a real fun read. That has happened.
They sent it out and they didn't BCC all the family
and somebody
emails.
was like, "This is what." Somebody's like, "Please don't reply all." And somebody's like, "This is what you get when you don't BCC."
No.
So that happened. And should have.
That should be illegal. I think to not BCC.
I think it probably is.
I think it's got to be
some sort of privacy. Something would be my guess.
So that's fun. Mom threatens him and says, "Hey, I'm going to deactivate your account." And I don't really know what that means. Is it email? Is it
Gmail would be
whatever?
my
I don't
guess,
know.
yeah.
But and then she says, "If you even try to log back in, you're going to be in big trouble." Who freaking cares if it's deactivated? It's deactivated.
Yeah, that's right.
Like it's not like if you try it 25 times, it activates itself again. So don't do that. No, it's deactivated.
That's it,
buddy.
Done.
Try all you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Try. It's not an active account.
Yeah.
Just because you try doesn't mean you can get it.
No,
it's deactivated.
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't know the tech in the movie.
They don't know. No, if it's deactivated, and don't try though,
Don't you
because
dare.
that's worse. I think my biggest one here in this movie is that this inn is way too nice to be struggling. This inn is amazing.
Yeah.
This
Aside from room 11.
Aside from room 11, this place on the outside, gorgeous. The inside looks freshly renovated. Like we see a bathroom at one point, amazing. We see a kitchen at one point,
Real nice.
amazing. This inn is amazing. This is not an inn. And so what's happening in room 11 can only be described as an absolute anomaly because the rest of the inn is in pristine.
She does talk about the electrical panel, but
Yeah.
the
inn
aesthetics
looks
of
great.
the inn are clearly great.
Get a generator.
Yeah.
I know where you can find some.
Several. apparently.
Last but not least, they walk into the Halloween party, and he's like, "Is that a selfie wall? How did he get that from that?" Like it's just a bunch of decorations.
He wants a selfie wall so bad in this movie.
Yeah.
From the first time he makes the suggestion, he's like, "Selfies. Listen, the key to your financial success is selfies."
Yeah.
And so any wall he sees, I think, is.
that a selfie
You're right.
wall?
It's crazy.
I see a step and
Yes.
repeat or something with little
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a clear
Yeah.
photo booth. I
Yeah,
think
selfie wall.
that's just a wall with lots of decorations on it. That's a selfie wall. Good for them. Dana?
My man gets an audible notification sound on his phone for every time he receives an email. Shoot me in the face.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know anyone who would do that. I mean, and then with Brian, between Brian at deckthehallmark.com,
Okay.
where you
I'm
send all
just-
your subscriptions.
I don't even want to say it. Never mind.
But yeah, we made the mistake of getting two different email addresses too, Brian. And then I've got a personal, like, I don't even want to think about an email notification, audible notification on my phone every time I get an email. Would never sleep. And this guy's so excited.
So stressful.
That they're all popping off with this email that he sent, which
Progress.
is crazy.
It's work.
There is no consistency with how big this town is at all. At first, it's like these two people don't know each other. And it's like, well, they were 2 grades apart. Okay, well, that makes sense. You went to a school with 5,000 people, then you would get easily lost in the sea. And then you realize later that they do kind of sort of remember each other from school. And then you realize that the town doesn't even have a public school in it anymore, which means there's either nobody in the town or it wasn't big enough to hold that many people and they needed to join with another town. But I think the problem is that how big are we supposed to think this loan is? How big of a deal are we supposed to think this financial struggle is? And then there's a weird crossover in this movie between people who know Luke but not Elise, people that know Elise but not Luke, and people that know both of them. And it's like everyone is confused why everyone else isn't on their page. So it's like, you know, Luke, he went to school. Lucas, you remember Luke. And then they're like, oh, you know, Elise. From Elise Town. Like everyone who is not Luke or Elise is in one of these spheres, and there's a Venn diagram, and there's like a few people in the middle who know everybody, and they're very confused how this town's got 8 people in it, gang. I mean, the apple picking thing had 15 attendees, most of which didn't talk. There is no world where these 2 people could grow up together and not have bumped into each other, run into each other enough to remember each other. I was shocked by that. We got to talk about what Luke did in his room, and then we got to talk about Autumn Festival and then Space Barge, then I'll be done, I promise. Luke did electrical work in his room. He fixed electrical wires in his own room. Now, I am not an electrician. And I think it's super dangerous. I've done a little bit of electrical work. And the number 1 rule of electrical work is you turn the breaker off. That is number 1 on the board. Number 1 answer on the board.
I'll write that
you
down
do
right
not
now.
do electrical work with wires that are live. For Luke to be in his room and to fix hot electrical wires is insanity. It's insanity. You're going to get yourself hurt or killed. How would you know they worked unless you did hurt or kill yourself? I don't know, but he did it. Congratulations, Luke. This Space Barge game is a riot because to get the new high score on this game that's been around for decades, it takes, I think, 5 minutes. He gets the new high score on this game before his pizza's ready.
Yeah.
Which is
under 6 minutes, probably.
like these arcade games that have been around for 40, 50 years. It takes like, I don't know, an hour or so to really get a high score on one of these games. This guy crushes it before they can throw in a quick pie. And that is, I guess, impressive. I don't know if it's impressive or not. I have no idea whatsoever. And then lastly, guys, if the business is going to close, if it's going to shut down, first of all, sell your rings.
Yeah,
don't give them back. Those rings that you put down on the table look like white gold or platinum. It looked like a pretty nice sized diamond. You're in for $5 to $10 grand. Probably a good start. If you sold 115 tickets, I don't know how many they ended up with. I know it's one point they had sold 115. Do we have a final
I thought it was
number?
over 200, wasn't
Great.
it?
They sold 200 tickets to a fall festival. I mean, we honestly can't believe this costs more than $30. It's a one night thing. Let's, $6 grand. You got more for your rings than that. Let's say it was $50. Let's say it was $50 a ticket. Your rings could have doubled. The thing that saved you and allowed you to get a loan. Your rings could have doubled that total, and that is pure profit. They had to pay money to put on the festival, so they probably made $2 grand on that bad boy. The rings are all profit. Maybe hold on to those.
Maybe she capped them. We didn't see what
She
happened
slams
after.
them down and slides them over.
She put
It
them
was
in
a
the middle of the
slam and
table.
slide.
Yeah, slam and slide.
The
This is what-
lawyers might have, if they were
It's a
smart.
it's a slam slide.
Slam slide.
Look at what you're about to lose,
And
And then
Oh,
pick
come
up the
back.
right
Yes.
back.
Come on back now.
Okay, if you say so.
That's how I.
Yeah, that's what you would hope. That
Do
that's
you
what happened.
honestly believe that, or are you just trying to defend
I'm
the movie?
trying, man.
Okay,
I'm just
good.
trying.
I appreciate that.
We never see him get. It's like you don't see if you don't see a dead body, then you should assume they're still alive. If you don't see the
that
guy
the same?
grab, if you don't see in movies, not in
You
real
assume
life.
that she.
Oh, you
In
left
movies,
out- you left
if you
out
don't see a dead body in a movie,
then you assume they're still alive. That's a real
Yeah.
rule. That's
Yes.
like the classic
if
Marvel
you
rule.
if
where
you
it's
don't
like,
not in real life, please don't go
No,
out hunting for
don't
dead
do
bodies.
that.
Just gonna write that down
if
too.
you
Next to the
don't-
electrical practical tip Dan gave.
Yeah, they come in 1-to-1 actually. If you play the cards right, if you don't see the groom grab the rings, then you should assume she keeps
got them
them.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Rules. I don't write them.
You sure don't.
It's time for what the Hallmark story
Barely
wonder what
say
could have been. Maybe it was a glitter would say. What are we still wondering? Boy, howdy. Let's find out. Brian.
Yeah, Candace, she's the realtor.
We know her. Yep.
And she's the wife of
Yes.
the bar owner. We know her.
Wife of Jared.
We know
Sure.
Candace. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she's a realtor and business is booming, is what Jared says. And I'm just wondering whereabouts exactly because everything is closed or
Yeah.
for lease. Like, is she doing more residential? She just selling? Like, it's just weird to say business is booming and then every storefront they pass is up for lease and closed.
Yeah, it's not booming for the people in business, but you know,
I don't know.
Who can say?
I don't know. The town seems like it's on the slowdown.
it's,
I don't
it's
know.
hard to say. It is hard to say.
Tough out there.
Yeah, I mean, I do worry, just about the terms of the bank.
Yeah.
I worry about him, and I was shocked. It's tough because for years we're like, Hallmark, you gotta stop having the guy bail the lady out and do all this stuff. Well, women can do it, and they can. But this is a very specific case that I feel like if he would have just been like, hey, I want to go into business with you.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things, like it's literally what he does, like he's in the
Yes.
hotel world and like, hey, my mom has given me her blessing to go out and do my own thing. I'd like to take what I've learned and I want to go into business with you. I love this inn. It was the perfect case for this guy to come back into town and to save her, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so those terms, when I don't know how banks work. So in my mind, they have unlimited money and they can do with it what they want to. And
That's why
so,
when the stock markets crashed in 1929, the banks were like, "Don't worry, we've got unlimited money."
that was my understanding. And so
That's how gas works too.
So yeah, it's similar. Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta hope for the
Yeah,
best.
it's just
And
always
so
there.
I would like to think that the bank is gonna be like, hey, you did really great with that party. Pay it back when you can. It's those type of terms.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm concerned about the terms. Though.
Sure.
Like I don't know a lot about banks. I know it's typically not a good time.
Sounds like you know a lot about banks.
I don't
You're
know.
Doing great.
I don't know anything about banks. And so that's kind of where I'm at. So I know you, Dan, you said that my view on banks was privileged, and I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
That, though, is overestimating my knowledge of banks.
That's true.
And so I do
Sometimes
want
privilege is not having to know.
That's exactly
true.
right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right, 100%. And don't I not know.
Boy, don't you?
But I am hopeful that this small town bank is going to do right by her,
On the up and up.
and we're going to hope for the best for it. It really felt like he was going to come in, right?
Yeah,
Like when we found out that
100%.
he's already invested in
Yeah,
Jared's business,
sure
it
did.
really
He went
felt
to
like
Jared.
he went to
He
Jared.
went to Jared.
Went to Jared.
I want to know where the kids are going, where the kids are going to school. I want to know how the school
Well, we don't-
closed and they opened a new public school. That happens. I grew up in a town where Burns High School is a massive school, and it combines
a big town. It's
huge.
Yeah, it's a small town,
Oh,
but it
well.
combines 4 or 5 small towns.
Yeah.
One massive high school, one of the like a 5A public school. I want to know how it changed the commute for the kids. Whenever this happens, it changes a lot. It doesn't. It changes bus routes. It changes teachers. It changes occupation. It's not just closing down a school. It changes allocation of property tax money. It changes a lot. So I want to know all about that. I know this movie is not going to tell you all about that because that wouldn't make any sense. I want to know all about it because I'm interested in
You know what's crazy though about
that?
this movie too is that I don't think I thought we were gonna get and maybe we did, but I didn't see it. We didn't get closure on that hockey picture, right?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, it was in
They get it?
the community center.
Yeah,
I think.
it's in the community center.
Thank
it
God.
was hanging
Thank
up.
God.
Yeah.
Because I was real. Listen, forget about the kids.
Absolutely.
What about the hockey picture?
Well, they said they didn't say that they got rid of the building. They said they built a new school outside of town.
He says he walks by.
Yes.
It's now a park.
Yes,
they
it's a
definitely
park.
got rid of
I
it.
think
And they
did destroy it.
specifically, I know, but they didn't just do that and build a new building next
No,
door.
no.
They built a
Right.
new building out of town. That means there is no longer a public school in town,
Yeah.
and that changes things. It just does. And so I'm fascinated to what happens.
But
after
again,
that.
it's less the hockey picture and the
Yes,
fact
of
that
course.
it's in the community center where it should
Closure.
yeah, of course, duh.
Forever.
be. It's time for Double Decker of the Week. It's where we dive deep into the life of a double decker. Brian, you it hasn't always been easy for you, especially over the past week without the internet. So I don't know how much
It's
time you've
tough,
had.
and you came through last week.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so hopefully you've been able to do the research.
Yeah,
who do we
FEMA
have
really
today?
came through.
Who do we have today?
We have Jody Barnes.
FEMA
Jody Barnes.
Yeah, FEMA coming through in all sorts
You get
of
this
ways.
info.
FEMA,
You
get-
got this Double Decker
I
of the
don't
Week
know,
from
man.
FEMA?
I don't know.
Their machinery was helpful, I would say.
Okay, great.
So this double decker
FEMA
Jody,
Plus.
yeah, FEMA Plus. Right. Don't look it up.
Don't look
Jody loves orange juice, especially
Yeah, who doesn't,
with
man?
pulp.
I like orange. That's where you lose me.
Oh, he lost you? Oh, no.
I don't like
yeah,
pulp.
of course you don't like pulp. That would make sense.
Do you like pulp?
I would choose pulp free, but if it's fresh squeezed orange juice with some pulp, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm in.
obviously, yeah. Jody, I'm sorry.
Jody,
loves-
it's Jody.
Yeah, it is
You
Jody.
call
And
her Judy. I don't.
Sometimes, well,
Yeah.
for this case, yeah.
Yeah.
Jody says she loves pulp, extra pulp, and got her thinking. There's a big push on health foods and kind of alternative foods right now, and so Jody was like, "I'm going to jump in on this with this idea I have for adding pulp to like other drinks that we might consume," and she's really,
Pulp. You're adding pulp to drinks that aren't juice.
yeah,
Oh no.
yeah, just to like
Oh.
for the
Pulp
benefits
from oranges?
No, like whatever it is,
Oh,
you
here we
just
go.
chunk
Yeah.
it up a little bit. Looking to get a celebrity endorser because just riding the wave of like the health, the nutrition, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example, big health guy now.
Yeah, Gold's
big,
Gym. Yes, of course.
He's also like mostly vegan, so
Yes.
he's very on board with
That's right.
like a very healthy lifestyle.
What's it called, Bri?
It's called Pulp You Up, and so really banking on this Arnie endorsement is what Jody's doing here.
And I
was-
understand we got a commercial.
We do.
Great. I love that.
Hi, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. You want a juice? Or do you just want the pulp goodness in a different drink? I'm here to pulp you up. So step right up. Get you a soda. Get you a water. Get you a beer, a brewski, a liquor drink, a vodka drink. I get knocked down, but when I get up again, I pulp you up.
I'm a slave for you.
Probably cut it right before the last part. Great. Yeah, the money's well
Man,
spent there.
I will
I'd
say
say.
this. I was worried they didn't actually get Arnie, but they got him.
Yeah,
That was-
sounds like he's in.
that was him.
They didn't get to the real Britney Spears song, which again I don't
That's
understand
right.
the tie-in
It
at all
sounded-
for
Can I
it.
tell you what it sounded like? It sounded like you
It did.
singing.
I know.
I'm a slave for you
It
at
did.
like a little slower tempo.
It did.
Maybe it was the tempo that made
And
it
to
sound
be clear,
different.
no, I.
Yeah.
No,
You're
you
watching
didn't have anything to do with Pulp You Up.
DTH. You
That's
know
right.
I didn't, but
That's right.
Maybe Arnold's like a one celebrity thing. Like he won't do it with
Rick, are
other
you there?
celebrities.
And Rick?
Hello, yeah.
Rick, how are you,
Yeah, I'm
buddy?
doing great. How about you?
Was that you in that?
I just am glad to be here on the show.
I know you do
don't
a
get
great-
to really come on anymore, and it's very nice.
I know
to
you
be
do
here.
a great Arnie.
I do an amazing Arnold, and I'm proud to do my Arnold whenever, and I would have loved to have booked that gig, but
Yeah.
I did
That's
not
not
book.
you.
No, that was Arnie. It was. I mean, you heard
Obviously.
it. It was clearly Arnie. I wish it was me. Could have used the cash
All right.
flow.
Now that
but it is what it is.
now that we just heard some Arnie, do you mind like just doing?
I'll
maybe
hit
a
you with
little
it. I'll
something?
give you some
All
butter.
right, I'll
You
close
ready?
I'm ready.
Here
Here's
we
some
go.
butter.
Get to the chopper.
It's unbelievable.
Oh,
Like
it's uncanny, right?
that is crazy. And
Yeah.
you're saying that wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me. No, it wasn't me.
I think you could
I
probably
do
sue.
some Arnie voice work. I do. He's going to be in Toy Story 5. I do his voice. in Toy Story
Wait
5.
a second.
Is he real?
Yeah, he's going to be blast off. It's a rocket. It goes to the moon and back.
Wonder what he says.
What
He
does he
says
say?
all kinds of stuff.
Like what?
He's got
to the-
several catchphrases.
What's
I
his
can't give them away right
TM.
now.
Give me one.
What?
Give me one.
To the moon with you,
Interesting.
cowboy.
It just keeps going.
I
It
thought it
should
was
stop.
I
But
thought it
just
was
keeps
gonna.
going.
I thought it was gonna be something about pants.
Yeah.
That's on me. I thought maybe a
No,
phrase.
why would he talk? He's a
Rick's
he's a spaceship, Brad.
yeah.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Are you kidding me right now?
All right.
Yeah,
I
Rick's
gotta
right
go.
here.
We got a big night tonight at Fitzy's.
What's going on tonight?
My pants.
We'll be back tomorrow with another one.
say
Until then,
that.
remember the first to wish you Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.